I grew up conservative, but rather secular Jew in America. And when I was in college, I became more observant. But I had a few challenging moments along the way of becoming more observant. The first was, I recently had heard about Kabbalat Shabbat, and soon after first hearing about it, I went to a service, and it was a Reform service. And when I walked in, people were playing the guitar and having a really good time, and I sat down towards the back of the room and tried to just play it cool, not really be noticed very much because I was really new to Kabbalat Shabbat experience. And midway through the service, all of a sudden I heard people start to laugh behind me. And at the time, I had this huge Jew fro. I'd had it for about 8 months. I looked like a very, very different person. And all of a sudden I turned around and I noticed the laughter was about me. And one girl said to me, to another girl, I can't remember, but I heard, she said, he has a worm in his hair. And I had a little tree worm that was like that large in my head, and I picked it out. My Jewfrau had taken it in from the trees and in new bloom in the spring. And the laughter started spreading and spreading and spreading through a good chunk of the room. And it was hard for me because I was new to the space and I already felt lack of confidence in my Judaism. And at the time I felt pretty mortified and pretty embarrassed. But I did my best to laugh it off and to keep learning about the tradition as much as I could nevertheless. The second challenging moment I had in my Jewish journey was I went to Teaneck, New Jersey with one of my friends. I don't know if you've heard of Teaneck. Teaneck is one of the most observant hubs of Judaism in all of North America. It is a really religious, really Orthodox observant community in upstate New Jersey. So I went down for Yom Kippur with my really good friend, and as Yom Kippur was basically, I think it was like mid-Yom Kippur, the morning of Yom Kippur, I went to my car and I was blasting Matisyahu music because I loved Matisyahu. And Matisyahu for me was a big part of my Judaism, in that when I heard Matisyahu, I connected in a way spiritually that I wasn't at that time able to connect with tefillah. And I felt so moved, I like cranked up. And then all of a sudden, a man approached me on the street outside my friend's house. No one else was there. And he said to me, "Do you know what day it is today?" And I said, yeah, it's Yom Kippur. He said, why do you have that music on? Don't you know that this is the holiest day of the year? You're not allowed to have music on? And I honestly didn't know. I had no clue that, like, basically, as I know now, the Yom Kippur is basically like a Shabbos where you don't have that. And I felt so bad that in this really observant neighborhood, that's the way that I was celebrating the holiday. But as sad that I am at the time, I think about Hasidic stories about people in synagogue. You hear the same story and over again, where the kids are clapping or a guy is like jumping up and down, and over these Hasidic stories tell us that as challenging as it might be for observant people who know halacha to see people doing things that are abnormal or different, that what they're doing is nevertheless beautiful. And being in that position, doing things that were different than halacha but were true for me, it gives me more empathy when I see people that aren't following halacha but are doing something that's true and real for them.